So, Gary,
Yeah,
tell us about you. I don't know these things. Where did you grow up?
pretty much born and raised in Mobile, lived a few years across the bay, probably about 4 years when I was in elementary and middle school in Spanish Fort, which is, 10, 15 miles across the bay. Moved back from there into Mobile, went all the way through high school, started working before I got out of high school, uh, and just been working ever since. In high school, go half a day and work half a day. So I'd make a 40-hour day plus go to school every day.
And
40 hour week. I'm at 40
where
hour
were
week.
you working, Coop, in high school?
Plant called Cordals. They made fiber, rayon fiber, textile plant, North Mobile.
How did you end up there?
My stepfather was the warehouse manager. So I worked in the warehouse when I was in high school, then moved in and worked in production after I graduated high school. But then don't like shift work, so didn't stay there long. Shift work's not for me. So you're 18 years old, all your friends are going out having a good time partying. I had to switch what I was doing.
What was your first full-time job?
Actually, it was with Cordals, working shift work, and then moved into this business and November of 78. And then got away from it for a while and did construction through Brown and Root and electrical company, did some electrical work and came back to it and have been in this business ever since. I've been in this business probably a little over 40 years.
When you say that you started in 78, who did you start with?
Bittner Industries, one of the leaders in fiberglass and rubber lining, biggest company in this area for doing that. In fact, a lot of the fiberglass companies started from them. They spun off and started their own business from them. So they were one of the leaders in this area for fiberglass and rubber lining.
Would they do a lot of field work? Did you have to travel a lot?
Been doing field work since I've been in this business. Have traveled all over. Have had some good travels that have had some bad travels, bad jobs, but that goes with the business. But yeah, have always traveled. Even through my kids growing up, my wife had a lot to do with bringing them up. If I was out of town, she's a registered nurse. We've been married 36 years. Have two wonderful kids, and now I have a grandson fixing to turn 2 this month, and my daughter has a child on the way. We don't know what it's going to be. She don't want to know what it's going to be until it's born. We look forward to our second grandchild.
When you left and came back, Gary, who did you work for then?
I went back to Bittner. I went
Did ya?
back to Bittner. Yeah, I worked Bittner probably right around 2 years or so. Left did construction work, young guy just looking for other opportunities, maybe better pay, stuff like that. Got into the construction industry. When I came back, worked at Bittner, started as a laminator, worked into fabrication. From fabrication, went into tank manufacture and actually was the foreman over the tank manufacturer. Plus went and ran field jobs all over the United States. The farthest north was Duluth, Minnesota, and the farthest west is Las Vegas, Nevada. And then the farthest south is San Juan, Puerto Rico. And I went there by myself to train them. But went back, worked there for 21 years, and then moved on to another fiberglass. They didn't do rubber line, they just did fiberglass as a production manager. Oh, before I left Bittner, the plant manager left and I was given the job. So I was plant manager for 3 or 4 years at Bittner before I decided to move on. Was seeing the company wasn't doing well, so thought I need to move on. Went to work for a fiberglass company here in Mobile, West Mobile. Really didn't work out. And from there, tried to start my own little thing. That didn't work out. Just, if you don't have the money to put into it, it's hard to do. And from that, went to work for Industrial Linings and was with them for 15 years until they decided to close shop. That's
How
no,
old were you when you became the plant manager?
let's see, that would have been, I left there in 201, probably around 97, 96, 97, somewhere in there.
What happened at Industrial? Tell us how you ended up here at Abtrex Industries or Abtrex Alabama.
Right after Thanksgiving, 2018, Industrial Linings decided to tell me they were closing the doors. Didn't really get a reason, just decided to close the doors. And we could see because they wasn't pushing for work. They were just trying to play it out. There was a lot of things they wasn't doing that needed to be done to the plant. And when I found out, I immediately reached out and tried to see if I could find someone to buy industrial linings through contacts that I have. And Keith was one of the ones that was interested. So Keith and Judy, buyers, flew into Mobile. I think Keith was in Saudi Arabia at the time, and Judy met him in Mobile. They came in and tried to negotiate to buy industrial linings. That did not work out. But with that said, when they asked Keith and Judy, it didn't work out. Keith immediately called me because we talked a little bit, a couple of days. He called me and offered me a job to open up a division in this area. And told me if I would to hire the guys that were getting laid off, because they were not going to tell the guys they were closing the shop. They were going to let them Christmas. They were going to shut the doors, and when they came back, they weren't going to have a job. But we talked them into letting them know, because of Christmas coming up, people spending money, let them know that you're closing. And they did, probably 3 weeks before they shut down. But with that, Keith asked me to hire all the guys that wanted to come aboard. After Keith and Judy left the week, I think it's the 14th of December, he flew back in town, and me and him started looking for a building. We found a building, which we're in now, and started the process of hiring all the guys. They got paid to the end of the year, and then started to work for Abtrex January 2.
How many people did you have at Industrial when the doors closed?
Probably, I think right around 12. At that time, 12. We had a lot more, but like I said, they started phasing out things, not taking care of things, not really pushing to get customers, and you could see where they were going with it. It didn't take rocket science to figure out what they were doing.
You were the GM there? Was that your
No,
role?
actually, I was field manager and estimator there. The vice president, you had the owner that came in every so often. You had the vice president, and then his son took care of all the financials and the office administrative work. And then I was considered field manager, estimator, and stuff like that. We wore different hats. I also did QC work, maintenance. I did a lot of different things.
Well, I can tell you, when it was brought to me, they said, okay, this is the owner, and there's this guy down there named Gary Cooper, who he's the one who does all the work. That's how it was relayed to me back in the day.
Now, a lot of this is just like right here, it's who you build around you. I've got good people around me, and as long as everybody does their job, it's not just one person. It takes the whole group of us. My plant manager worked at Industrial Linings. He saw the writing on the wall. He left. And when Keith offered this, I immediately called him and asked him to take the plant manager job here. And he left his new job to come here to be our plant manager. Real good guy. Really works with people real well. And then we were lucky enough to hire an administrative assistant. She's really good.
She has to
keeps
keep you guys in check.
To
Yeah.
keep me and Bubba straight, she has to be good.
Yeah.
Not
So
like my wife. She's good too. To put up with me for 36 years, she's got to be good.
The plant manager's name is Bubba. Well, his name is Josh Simmons, but he goes by Bubba, and he really is. He's a great guy. But that's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, Coop, is that, how do you create that? I mean, the culture and the teamwork that you have created down in your facility is outstanding. So tell us a little bit about your management philosophy and how you keep people positive. They're working in the heat with fiberglass. It can be miserable.
It is. It is. I mean, we didn't have all the luxuries at some of these other plants that I've worked at before. And one thing you do learn being in this business this long is not actually what to do, but what not to do. And that's one thing, we work together because if they need help, you step up and you help them, when it has to do with production or knowledge or something like that. We talk. That's our biggest thing is we don't argue. If I get upset, it's something to do with quality or something like that, or something to do with a job taking too long. I really don't get upset. I just, we talk about it and discuss it and try to find a fix. I mean, that's what you have to do. You got to find a way to fix what's wrong. We can't fix it all the time, but we do our best. We build relationships with our customers that believe in us. If they call, we're there. It don't matter who it is. We're there. 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning. I get a lot of phone calls after midnight because of service work. And used to in the old days as field manager, I would have to get up and handle that. Now I just call my plant manager and say, hey, we need a couple of people here. And so he handles it. And like I said, you learn to do things that maybe wasn't done right at the other places I worked, building a call list and stuff like that for people to where you're not trying to fight to get somebody to go to do the job. They know they're on a call list and hey, you're the first two I'm going to call, be ready. So it makes it easier. Like I said, try every day, try to go out and say hello to all the guys. It don't matter who it is, I'm going to say hello to them. If they ask questions, I'll answer. Mostly if it's got to do with production, because I've been in it a few years, so I know a lot of little tricks of the trade. We just have a very good relationship. We talk. Like I said, everybody's pretty much treated the same. If I can help them, I will.
So what do you think that the culture working for Abtrex different than working for the old place? I know you said they weren't going after field work, but what did you find that was there anything fresh and exciting about the way Abtrex does business?
Big thing with Abtrex is, it is a bigger corporation. It is a family-owned business, which that's all I've worked for, except for in construction work. But in this business, I've always worked for family businesses. It's not as big, single building businesses. Abtrex brings a lot more. They put a lot more into needs of equipment, stuff like that. If you need something, which used to, we improvise a lot. You try to figure out the best way to do it with what you had. A lot of people used to call me MacGyver because I'd always come up with a solution to doing things. And I still do that in a way, but not as much. But now it's a lot easier when you have what you need to work with. It makes it a lot easier. Or know that you have the resources. It makes it a lot better. A lot more to do in fiberglass than it is rubber on specifications.
Just recently complete a book.
That's right behind me. Leadership and Strategy Tactics from Jocko. He was an ex-Navy SEAL. Yeah, I've done that one. I did actually American Sniper. I read that book. I'm into a lot of the military books.
And tell us about your grandson. I think this
My
kid
grandson,
is
our grandson is our life. Every time he comes around, it just makes our day. They do video chats. They do our FaceTime on iPhone. We usually get a picture of him every day. My phone is full of pictures of my grandson. My son and his wife adopted him to be 2 years ago when he was born, and we all went out to Arizona. In fact, my daughter-in-law was she's in Orlando at Disney World, but my son wasn't down there at that time because he had to work, and she was down there with the family. The girl that was setting her baby up for adoption called and said she was fixing to have it. So my daughter-in-law jumped on a plane. My son jumped in the car with my wife. They started driving, and then my daughter came over. We jumped in a vehicle and we drove. All of us drove to Arizona. They were out there a while. We stayed out there a week, but he was just a joy when you first saw him. And he's a good-looking kid too. He's a good-looking kid. He's fixing to turn 2. Looking forward to the new one coming too.
What's his name?
His name's Tucker. His middle name is Tucker William because my middle name is William. My son's middle name is William. My grandfather's name was William. So my wife's father's middle name was William. So we put William in there just to keep it going.
And what are you and Tucker going to do over the summer? What are you looking forward to teaching Tucker? Are you going to teach him how to golf?
Yes, once he gets up to a certain age, yeah, he will learn how to golf. It looks like he's going to be left-handed. One of my brothers were left-handed. He's fished a little bit, went out there and we bought him a little reeling rod. So hopefully he's going to like fishing and golf and just whatever he wants to do. We were all involved in sports growing up because there's 5 of us boys. We all grew up in sports and scuba diving, water skiing, you name it.
Did you play sports in high school?
Yes, I did.
What
Yes,
sport did you play?
all 3.
Yeah.
Football, basketball, and baseball. My biggest sport was basketball. I was a point guard. So I would play JV and varsity every night. So I'd play almost 7 to 8 quarters a night.
Nice. And what about football? What position did you play?
Played, actually, we were a small school, played wing back, which is a running back, and played defensive end. And then baseball, anything from shortstop, third base, first base, never pitched. Can't catch because I'm bat blind, if anybody knows what that means. But I played all different positions.
So in your immediate family growing up, you were the youngest?
I was the youngest.
Were
Yeah.
you spoiled?
No, I think they just gave up, Kathy, after having three boys and going through the hell they went through. I
Oh,
think after, because even my middle brother, who I was very close to, the time that they gave them, that by the time I was a senior in high school, it was like, we don't care.
interesting. And are your parents still alive?
My father died at age 51, heart issues. And my mother, being 85, will be 86 in July. She's the only one that's left.
And does your mom still live in the area?
Yes, yes, she does. Yeah, she lives in Mobile too. So, yeah, I mean, everybody in the office, we've hired a few people that really didn't fit in. And that's one thing we do look at is when we hire somebody, we want to make sure that they fit in. We just don't hire people. We have, but it don't work out. They don't last. So you want somebody that mixes in good with you. It makes the atmosphere around here is actually good. I mean, really good. We all joke and kid, uh, and it makes for a good day of work. We get our job done. We do get our job done. We make sure of that, but we don't make it a stressful situation.
So now Becca and Natalia and I are all coming to town. Where are you going to take us to dinner?
We had McDonald's, Arby's. Let's see. Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bojangles, that's a good chicken place. No, we have, biggest thing is we're known for our seafood on the Gulf Coast. If you like shrimp, if you like oysters, if you like fish and stuff like that, we're very well known for that. Louisiana has a little more spices to theirs, which is very good. But we'll find a good seafood restaurant or something like that. But you're not coming, so you know.
Oh, well, no, we are. I mean, that was the next question. When can we come?
Uh, it's a plane ticket.
Right?
I welcome anybody anytime, and I've always done that. There's a lot of work down here. Salesperson would help out. We're using the business we have right now come from the customers that we had from other places I worked. So we were able to regain that business from the bigger customers we have in this area. Need to reach out to some newer customers, and I have done that. Just picked up a new one this week that reached out to me from Industrial Linings, and it looks like it's going to turn into some pretty good little work there for on cat iron and iron rubber line projects. So other than that, would like to get bigger. Want to make sure that all this is set up within 4.5 years. So let's say 3.5 to 4 years. So when I retire, I want it to be a good transition to when I walk out that it keeps rolling.
All right, Becca and Natalia, do you have any other questions for Coop?
Actually, I have two questions. And the first one is, what would you say to a person who's considering to work for Abtrex? How would you, convince that person?
Usually, I think I'm more picky than they are. I'm more picky about the person that comes in. I just don't hire people. We did have, in fact, our last hire worked for a company that we were just starting to do trailers for. And he came to us, looking for a job. We sat down and told him what we did. We tell him the benefits of working for Abtrex as far as, what to offer. A lot of these other companies don't have the 401k, don't have the boot policy, the short-term disability, the health insurance. They don't have those anymore. So that is a big seller to have more than just a paycheck. And people appreciate that. They just don't want a paycheck. They want more, and this gives them more. With the holiday pays and stuff like that. Around here, every so often we do lunches and stuff, and it might be something simple like Jimmy John's or we'll bring in ribs or something like that, or Bubba cook ribs. Bubba's a very good cook. We have a big grill here that we throw ribs on and cook, and you can ask anybody, some of the best ones you ever ate.
Is that the one you made out of the job box?
That is. That's the one we met out of the job box. He's always been a very good cook. I have another guy that's a very good cook that, I mean, he does it every weekend. He loves to get on the grill. Yeah, we've even did shrimp boils before. We did that one Christmas where we did a big shrimp boil. And on the shrimp boil, you take the shrimp, you take potatoes, you take sausage, you take corn, and you put it all in the same pot. You get a table, clean the table, sling it out on the table, and everybody go to feast.
Yeah.
So-
Well, we always laid newspaper down and then threw it on the newspaper.
Oh, no, you get print from the newspaper. Yeah, well, we just, clean the table and we go with it. As long as the table's clean, you good. So I've done this for 40 years and I like talking this business. I know this business, so I like talking fiberglass. I like talking rubber. And I want my salespeople to be the same way. I want them to know and be able to talk or enjoy talking what we do. Because most engineers, when they come in here and watch us make fiberglass, it's just amazing to them how we do that. People don't realize what goes into making fiberglass pipe fittings and stuff like that. So, and I've had people that walked in fact, the last hire, he was impressed, and that's the reason he wanted to come work here. We joke, we kid. Nobody takes anything personal because they all know how we are. They joke and kid with me. I mean, I had one come in this morning joking and kidding, and we don't take things personal. It's a job, y'all. It's a job. We're here to get the job done. The better you make the atmosphere around here, the better it is for everybody, and
Awesome.
still get the job done.
Favorite food?
Shrimp,
Favorite sport?
golf.
Favorite song?
Oh, there's a lot of those. Oh, wow. Stairway to Heaven, One Way Out from Allman Brothers, Marshall Tucker, anything to do with Marshall Tucker. I mean, I'm rock and roll, okay? But I do listen to country too. Big Luke Combs fan. Go ahead.
Cartoon character.
Roadrunner. Favorite movie? We watch a lot of different types of movies. So that's probably the toughest one of all, trying to figure out the favorite one. It's not High Noon and it's not Sergeant York. And I know
I do.
Gary Cooper was the movie star in that, and I think my mother named me after him. Two of the biggest movies that he made was High Noon and Sergeant York. So I don't know. That's hard to answer that one.
What does Tucker call you?
Paw Paw.
And what is your wife's nickname for you?
Yeah, I can't say that on there. I mean, we pretty much just use our names.
Well, do most people call you Gary or do they call you Coop?
Coop started, my brother was called Coop, and it sort of came into play after we lost him. And it just makes it easier. Or other names that I can't say, and they don't say those out loud.
Yeah.
Uh,
At the end of a meeting, you'll have to grade the meeting. So we'll go down 10, 10, 10, 10. Coop, 9.875.
10, for one thing, but 10 means it's a perfect meeting. No, it should be. It should be a perfect meeting. That means everybody should be there. That means that it made its time and you got something done. That's a perfect meeting.
Yes,
And I always look at this. I never give a top 5 number on any type of questionnaire just because you can always improve yourself.
Thanks very much for your time. We
Thank you,
appreciate it.
ladies. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great weekend. And